My name's Stephen Pohl. I live in Victoria, beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. And I guess my hobby would be painting. I started painting because of COVID. So I was locked up, had really nothing to do. And I ordered some cheap paints and canvas off of Amazon, and that was that. I painted my first painting. When I first started, I had no idea what I was doing, obviously. So what I was producing was very childlike, I think, but people loved it. And everything that I posted online, and I progressed from each painting. I tried to challenge myself and do something that was outside of what I thought I could do. And so with that mentality, it didn't take long for my painting to get a lot better. And I did it all by myself. I haven't even watched like a YouTube video on how to paint. But now we're at the point where I'm creating stuff like what's behind me. These hammerheads, that was actually my first painting of anything underwater. And it was kind of a challenge because I had never done it. And I also wanted to test out what I could do with one color. So I made a custom blue that I had, you can't buy anywhere. And I made enough of it so that I could take that one color and stretch it all the way to dark as far as I could go, and then all the way to light. And that's how I got the shading on the hammerheads. But then I took what I learned there and I transferred it into the orca, which, we go everywhere from black all the way to white, but in between there's only one color, blue. For the piece that I'm working on right now, I kind of went big. It's by far the biggest piece that I've attempted. It's 6 foot by 4 foot, and it's daunting. Pardon me. I chose that size because I had bought some canvases off of someone online, and one of them turned out to be 4 by 6 foot, and I stared at it for so long because I had no idea what I would ever put on there. And then I came across this beautiful scene, underwater scene with a bunch of humpbacks, and I knew that was the one. I knew it. So again, reached out to the photographer, got permission to do it, and then I started planning it out. Not really planning it, but I just started the process. So that's taking the canvas, adding gesso to it, layers of gesso. I didn't really know what gesso was or what it did. But I did see one of the people I follow on Instagram, say in one of his little short blurbs that he does 5 layers of gesso. So I was like, I guess I have to do that. So that's kind of what I do now. So I started off with just the canvas, put down 5 layers of gesso. It's like a base coat, but it's uniquely formulated, I suppose, for canvas and paint. And then once that's done, I mask it off, and this is kind of the weird part for me because I don't know if I'm really doing it super wrong, but I take I do a drawing of the piece that I'm going to paint. So I have the picture, I even put it on a little tablet, and then I draw it out, and I can do grids to make sure that my proportions are right, and then you end up with a drawing. And so I actually mask off the part of the drawing that is the detail, because for a background, when you're doing it that big, the paint dries. So you have to be really quick, and you can't work around, your detail parts. So yeah, I mask it off, and then I paint the entire background. And then when I peel off that tape, and there's the piece comes to life. So once the subject has been revealed and I've taken the tape off, I start randomly just kind of putting a color on. And I've got my grade all the way from black to white, and I just kind of start putting on a base color, and I don't blend anything. I'm just kind of picking where the lights and the darks are going to be. So I get that first layer on, then second layer, I get the colors a little bit closer to what they're really going to be, and that's like for everything on the painting. And this one's huge, so that is a very long process. By the third coat, I have defined all of the blending of colors on the whale. I know the lights and the darks, and I'm ready to start detail. So the detail is just this tiny little brush on this massive piece, and I put on as much detail as I can, even though you'll never see it that close. Like, it's a big painting, you'll see it from quite far away, but once you get close, you notice that there's detail all the way down to just like the size of a pencil, and that's kind of that's my process. I'm sure that other people do it differently, but this is how I do it, and it works for me. So in the beginning, I was painting my photographs. I spent, quite a bit of time in my life taking photographs and pursuing it as a form of art. But I wasn't allowed outside because of the COVID, so I needed an outlet, and I couldn't go out and photograph, so I decided I would take my photographs and then paint them. Like, obviously I follow photographers on Instagram and Facebook and all of that, but I started seeing some pictures that I thought I could never paint that. And then what I did is I reached out to the person that took the photograph, as far away as Czech Republic. And I started to reach out to them and ask them if I could paint their photos. And graciously, everybody so far has said, yeah, for sure, just keep me in the loop. Send me a couple pictures as you do it. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is because I need to be motivated by like quite a big scene. That seems to be where I'm going now with my journey in paint. I guess for me that the learning process is obviously going to be pretty different than people that they start in high school with art and they're a part of the art scene, and they go to college and study art, and they know all of the ins and outs of everything from colors, shading, light, all of that. I have to learn on my own. I don't want my style or my technique to be changed because someone else says it's right or wrong. I think that art is always right, and there is no wrong. People get critiqued a lot, but that's life. That's everybody. So I don't necessarily think that I am doing anything wrong. I guess if I were to talk to somebody that wanted maybe to get into painting, I would say, absolutely just do it. Don't have any fear. I think that people get confused when they look for answers on how to do something, because everybody does it a little bit differently. So what I would say is just put your heart into it. Just paint whatever you want, and paint it however you want. Don't be afraid to just get the paint on a canvas. And what happens is every time that you do that, you're going to learn something, whether it's big or small or everything in between. I would say to anybody that's thinking about getting into painting, like just go for it. Just do it. The first couple are going to be tough. Like, I look at my first one and I'm just like, oh my God, that's horrible. But other people like it, So I would definitely tell anyone to just go for it. Put the paint on the canvas, learn from that, and then move on to the next one and challenge yourself, right? Like I said, I try to do something that I truly do not think that I can complete every single time I do a painting. So, and then I do it and it's finished. I think that anybody has the opportunity to become a good artist, and it's just a matter of being fearless and just doing it.